Like when we were looking on it before, I was kind of worried that Alpha is kind of secluded from everything else. Like it might become like its own battlefield. You know how you get points like remember Old Kursk, where you had that point at the bottom of the hill and nobody really went there, and maybe like one or two people fought over it. I'm wondering if Alpha is going to be similar to that.
Well, it's kind of usual to see, even when we play or individually, that you sometimes just focus on one part of the map. Because it's the one you feel more comfortable fighting at.
Yeah.
Like, it won't surprise me if people just decide, oh, well, on this one I will play in Alpha or in Charlie.
Yeah, kind of like how in I'm just changing skins. So kind of like on Alpha. Sorry, was it not Tunis? Yeah, El Alamein, where I go to like the south and just play the south basically.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And I always play the northern part and the center.
Yeah.
Or even in like you said, in Kursk, you usually play in the town area, and that's it.
So, first thing at least about the North Spawn here, there's a lot of rolling hills, which is cool and all, and normally I'm a big fan of in the center of maps, but now what it creates is areas where people can just sit behind the hills, where like two hills intersect, and then wait for somebody to pop out of the spawn, and then bino them, and then just pop out and shoot them in the face. So you've created an easy way to be able to hold the spawn, where people aren't going to be able to get out after the first spawn, which kind of sucks. I do like the fact that Alpha is slightly like it's all the ground around Alpha is raised, so it means that you can kind of enter from any place. And you know the people might not on Alpha might not know where you're coming from, so there aren't just direct roads into it. I think that's a very good thing about it. So you can pretty much attack from any angle.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that at least on this build, the majority of these structures are not destructible.
Yeah, pretty much any of these like colored houses. None of these you can destroy, or I'm not even sure you can shoot through. Like, do you want to do a quick test through this one?
Sure.
Yeah, because we were looking at it before, and like normally, at least on FireArk, which has similar houses to this, normally you can like yeah, I'll just line up right here. So let's see if you can shoot through the building and hit me.
Yeah, firing. Nope.
Nope. Alright then.
Well, let me see if we can destroy it with heat now that I broke some.
Alright. Yeah, it seems a bit odd that they seem to be the same model of house, but they seem to be also indestructible, where some of the other ones definitely aren't. Unlike other games or other maps, sorry. Yeah, even with 3 or 4 heat shells, it doesn't do anything.
No, I think they're set up that way.
Yeah. I mean, hardcover's not a bad thing. There's a lot of soft cover here, like a lot of fences and bushes and outhouses.
This one.
What?
It's just a little chuck thing, but when you destroy it, it deploys a lot of smoke all around.
Where? Which one?
Here, this one. No, it's no longer there. Let's see if there's another one.
There's also like a burned out building next to the church for some reason. I don't really know why that's there. It's like an old crematorium or something. Yeah, somebody destroyed this church. It's not had a good time. At this point, I mean, the most similar to it is like the point on FireArk, like the central point. Just moving up house by house by house, but I think this is actually better than that central point in FireArk, because you can attack it from any angle. So you can, let's say you're like coming from this side, instead of just going straight in, you could maybe use like this defilade over here, from coming over here and then go around and then attack from behind the church. So it just means you have more angles of attack, and that's always going to be more beneficial in War Thunder since it's mainly defensive based.
Yes, this kind of approach. On this one, you expose yourself a little too much.
Where are you?
Here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Oh my god, you killed a wheel.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all good.
Yeah, the
like
surroundings we were mentioning the rolling hills, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of rolling hills.
Yeah, like you could maybe come out like somewhere like that, right, where it's a little bit lower with more cover, or a little bit further around. Yeah, I think I like this one. I'm just worried about how if people push through, like instead of trying to fight around Alpha, they fight around the rolling hills. It's going to be really hard to get out of this one. Like really hard. And then over here you've got this big road, which I think we should name something like Death Road or something, because it's definitely a road you should never go down.
Yeah.
Like there's no cover. It goes from spawn to spawn, and it reminds me of a worse version of the one on Cargo Port on the left hand side, where in order to get to the alpha point you have to get across, and you ain't doing it. Like
even on that one you have some wreckages here on the card. It's nice plain, like there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's just a blank road, like that's it.
Of course we haven't tested it in actual combat, but I feel like this zone is going to be one of the negative aspects of this map.
Yeah. Whoa, okay. It's an interesting slide. Yeah, because having this road here instead of having, let's say, like a barricade in the middle or like a rolling hill, it pretty much means that getting from Alpha to Bravo is going to be really hard to do. And that's why like Alpha feels a bit cut off from the rest of it. I do like the fact that there's roads everywhere though, so it means that wheel vehicles will, they'll be able to go max speed a lot of the time if they want to.
Yeah.
So this is the Bravo point. I kind of like this point quite a lot actually. I think there's a decent amount of cover, but it's open enough so you don't have too many angles to check while you're moving in if you've lost the first engagement. And also the way that the point's set up, so you've got this huge building here and the point is set up on either side of it. So if you're coming from the north side, you can actually cap the point like here, or you can cap it back here where you have some hard cover, and it's going to be really hard to dig people out of this area, especially since you have this I can't remember its name. What's the thing called again?
Atrium.
Atrium, there we go. You have this atrium, and there's, as Alex said earlier, there's always going to be somebody sat in it. And
I mean, not our tanks, but
yeah, Locust or something like that. But yeah, I think so. This here is also hard cover, so like you can't go through this. So you can have one tank sat here and one tank sat on the other side, and they can maybe see each other with their cameras, but they can't ever actually hit each other, which is interesting. And then also, this is the first we see all of these like cement pieces, like building blocks and stuff. I think in general these are actually really cool, because it's just random cover everywhere. It kind of breaks up the normal lines you would go through places, and it just gives you extra cover, which is very important while moving through zones. I don't think you can shoot through it either, can you?
No.
No. And if we have a look at the other side of Bravo, it's pretty similar to the other one. So once again, hard cover on both sides. You're going to have to flank it to attack it, which is not going to be easy. Then also we have a beautiful statue of Lenin. Well, I suppose it's a statue. With old Lenin.
Portrait.
Yeah, portrait, I suppose. There we go.
Okay.
There's also one little interesting tidbit actually about the Bravo point that we saw earlier. Like obviously the decorations on the map and the aesthetic is really cool. Like the map itself looks great. Whether it's going to play great is another story. But it seems like somebody had a bad time over here and just one of the rooms has just exploded. Like there's definite, like a fire happened here. Like you can see like here, and then also like all the windows here, they have like residue basically from like a fire happening. But then somebody really cocked up over here and just blew out a wall. So whatever happened in this building was not a good time.
Some failed chemistry experiment.
Yeah. And all the cars are destructible, which is cool. And yeah, I think the main fighting's gonna happen between Bravo and Charlie, which should be pretty cool. And as we said, like Alpha will kind of be left by itself. I'm gonna have a look at the Charlie point. No. Now, at least for me, the Charlie point is where I'm a bit worried. And I'm mainly worried because of just the amount of corners and the amount of things that you're going to have to focus on. And that's mainly just kind of how city fighting is when you don't have defined lanes. Like I'll use the example of Sweden. So because of the way Sweden's set up and because of the sound fixes on it, when going into an area, especially some of the open areas, you have to look at like 4 or 5 angles before you're able to push forward. And even if you do that, you sometimes get caught out by somebody sitting behind a corner hearing your engine and then popping out. On a map like Advance to the Rhine, which is more lane based, you have like 2 corridors you have to look at. And that means it's much easier just to hold your area. This Charlie point is like the first issue that we talked about on Sweden, but squared. There are so many angles that you have to look through. Like just coming through here. So let's see. So you got 1, 2. So you got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got. Is that a 4? Might be a 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Then on the other side, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So just 14 angles that you have to look between and hope that nobody's sitting there waiting for you to push. And that's just to enter the city area. Like, it's not even, you know, it's not even doing anything in the city area.
It also can be a bit problematic that they decided to put some trees here and there.
Yeah. So it just blocks your view. Like it's like maybe as an initial fight it will be good because it means that people can go to areas pretty quickly and they can hold areas, wait for people to push and stuff like that. But if ever you lose the initial engagement at this point, it's going to be an absolute pain taking it back because all it's going to take is like 1 or 2 guys sat in those areas and your whole team's just going to be stuck because, like, you know, teamwork in War Thunder doesn't happen that much. Then this is the Charlie area. Once again, tons of angles that there's no way you can cover them all without pushing forward. And the area itself is just a complete open zone. Very similar to what you see on, what is the Italian map called? Campania?
Campania.
Yeah. Where in the northern sector on Campania, you have that, like, that fountain in the center, and you all kind of fight around it, but this is that expanded. So just by pushing onto this point, once again, you're opening yourself up to so many damn angles. Right? There's no way you can cover them all. You just basically have to get lucky or, you know, use smoke a lot to hope to push forward. You got these pretty cool things though. Like, I think these are pretty awesome. They're made of wood as well, so that's pretty cool. Hey, it's a little ticket box or something. One thing that is good, at least right now, this might change with more players on the map, frame rate's really good. I haven't had any drops or anything like that going around it, which is a surprise.
Yeah, the temptation is pretty good.
Yeah, so you have these like massive areas with a ton of angles on them. Like there's a little bit of rubble on this side. I would actually say on both Alpha and Charlie, it is easier to get to the points from the south side than the north side. And I think Bravo, it's going to be a little bit more contested depending on how easy it is to go from that right spawn to Bravo. Because if you're not going left spawn to Bravo, that's never happening. Or it shouldn't happen unless you get across that road quickly. Once again, big open areas, tons of angles you're going to have to look at. Like, it's going to be a real pain. What is good though, is there is a side road, and also if you are getting spawn camped, both right hand spawns do have a road out of them which covers you completely from the incoming fire. Like if you spawn over here, you have like this road which is behind this massive hill, and it takes you to the east, but it does take you to a road next to the river, which, you know, I mean, I suppose you could go to the road next to it and then go around, but it pretty much.
Yeah, we could take this one over here.
Yeah. Well, it just means it's a little bit harder to spawn camp. It means that you have a few general areas out of it, and it also means that you can kind of enter the city where you want. The only problem is on this road next to the river, there isn't any cover at all down the road. So if somebody's decided to do the same thing you're doing, you kind of fucked because they just it'll just be a shootout and whoever wins wins. Also, I think you mentioned that this is just going to be basically a little wheelie boys paradise.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a thing they do in other maps when they try to focus the fighting on certain areas of the map, but they always leave these like hard flank routes. Usually get taken over by fast vehicles, usually on wheels. Yeah. Like the usual suspects, the Centauro, the T-20, all those.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that there's no cover here, like at all. If somebody just parks themselves like up here and just waits for you. But you do have the options of like going to the left and going in. I feel like some of these things are gonna be destructible eventually. Like stuff like this. This to me looks very similar to what we see on American Desert with their buildings and the same materials. So I feel like stuff like that will eventually be destructible. Or hopefully it will.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also, since we're mentioning that, I think it also applies to the other areas, but I wouldn't mind seeing more of these barricades, like the one in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, just put a few more of these in, just down the road, because it doesn't stop people moving quickly, because they can just go around them, but it gives people cover as they're pushing forward.
And it also makes you maneuver.
Yeah. I do like the high apartment buildings though, because it means that CAS is going to have a little bit less of an influence. They're going to have to come top down pretty hard if you're fighting in the little city, which is good. Yeah, let's just have a look at the other anti-spawn camping road.
Yeah. It is positive that at least on the end of the road, it's not a single exit. You can use all this sector to try to do a counter.
Yeah, exactly. So the anti-spawn camping road over here, is you can kind of see it on the map, like in this area, and it's pretty much designed to do the same thing. What? Wait, what is this? Is this a running track?
Yeah, I guess so.
It looks so depressing. Why is it yellow in the center? Maybe people could do an endurance race on that or something. How many laps can you do?
I think it's actually that, like a running thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because I know this. I know that Seversk is an actual place. I don't know how closely this is modeled to it, but it'll be interesting to actually have a look. So just like on the other side, where you have like a kind of hill in front of the spawn, you have a hill here too, and the hill pretty much covers like the general area. You have 3 exits. You got the main exit, which you're never gonna take if you're getting spawn camped. You got this exit, which you might take because the only way to stop it is, as you can see, if you're seen on the map like Alex is right now. And this is the 3rd exit, which is the, as I said, the oh god, we're getting spawn camped, let's run exit. Which is this gets you to hard cover basically over here, which is pretty important. Like if all 3 of these routes are getting spawn camped, I mean you've lost. So like, it's pretty much as simple as that.
At least gives you that chance to make it over.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking an enemy with you.
Yeah, it means that one vehicle can annihilate a spawn basically. Like it's gonna take a squad of people who are pretty, you know, they're pretty well oiled to actually spawn camp properly. So I actually think, at least on this side of the map, you know, people complaining about like spawn camping and things like that, it's pretty good from this side. The left side it's not, but at least from the north. But that's a different story. Yeah, let's go and see that other statue. And we'll have a look from the air and have a look.
There's another atrium.
I don't think I'd want an outside atrium. And wait, I wonder where Seversk is actually. Like,
One of the guys mentioned northern Russia.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah. No, thank you.
A broader estimation. Russia is pretty big.
Yeah. At least from the ground, I think it's going to be a pretty nice map. Let's go open fighting if you want it. A lot of rolling hills, which is very positive. Interesting city fighting. Just, I'm a bit worried about the second spawn, but that's about it really. Everything else looks pretty nice.
Also, how much these forest areas are gonna be used.
Yeah.
That's mainly to the player. Really.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it's going to be a map that's going to be figured out quickly. Because there seems to be a counter to each position if you need it. And this is the, I suppose, the statue as you go in. Which is pretty cool. A good old roundabout. I don't know why, but I really like Soviet vehicles. And the way they look and stuff. They always look funny.
Very, I don't know how you can say, simple design.
Simple, yeah.
Brutalist
yeah. You can destroy that as well, if you want to. Alright, so one of the first things I noticed when looking at the air portion of this is from the air portion, like when looking at the map, you can see like this big like yellow zone, and I think that's farming land. It looks kind of like when you look at it, because it's this area, it looks like outside villages from the area, but it just looks like decimated farmland. I don't know, it's a bit weird, but it's very obvious to see where the actual map is. It stands out compared to the rest of it. As you can see, it's not going to be that easy bombing stuff such as the city area, just because of the buildings, which is good. But the open areas where the trees are and stuff, I think it's unfortunately going to be fair game. It's a pretty nice looking map from the air though. And one thing, there's no real pop-in either. I remember that was an issue with maps such as Vietnam back in the day.
Oh yeah, Sweden got it a lot back in the day, remember?
Well, Sweden still has real bad FPS issues in the air too.
That is true.
Yeah. But on this one, yeah, I mean the trees are a little bit, like they come in and out a little bit. But it's not a huge deal. And everything else looks pretty good. Like I'd say it's you know, it's pretty nice. Hopefully the apartments give enough hard cover for it to work.
Hmm.
I think that'll do. There's not really much else to mention. Wait, is that?
Forward to playing it?
Yeah, I am actually. There's another statue. Never noticed that one.
I'd just like to thank Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Trigger Hippie, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Hosest Kishot, Hans, Bareen, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.